One thing I love about BYU basketball is they do a really awesome job promoting their program, whether it's through social media or even supporting AJ DeBonce's vlog, or I don't know. They have a lot of great stuff that is just painting this program as an up and coming powerhouse in the sport. They also have this thing called BYU TV. BYU TV Sports Nation is like a BYU sports specific show that apparently is a television program that has 48,000 Twitter followers. And I've seen clips from this program quite a bit. It's awesome. I wish my favorite program had this type of thing. But, anyways, Kevin Young went on BYU TV Sports Nation and he was being asked about Egor Demin's NBA draft process. And Kevin Young spoke about his pride, how just happy he is for Egor, how good of a kid Egor is, and how people don't realize the grind that is going to the NBA draft workouts and flying all over the country. It's real work, and Yegor's doing a great job and still staying in touch with Kevin Young every step of the way. Everybody go watch that. There's a clip on Twitter that BYU promoted. But there was one really interesting thing that stood out from this whole story to me. Kevin Young mentioned at the end of this clip that Yegor told him, quote, at every NBA workout at the end, the coaches say, tell KY I said hi. Yegor goes around to every single lottery pick team. He's probably worked out for 20 different teams by this point. But at the end of all of them, somebody comes up to Yegor and says, hey, tell my guy KY I say hello. Kevin Young just worked that right into the end of this convo, but it got me thinking. This is the whole sell of why Kevin Young works. He's the only coach in college basketball that has this type of relationship with every single NBA team. He is beloved in that league as much as he is beloved at BYU right now. And this is the first time I think I realized that being said out loud. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I have a few thoughts. First off, Kevin Young is literally John Calipari. And I'm very excited for if a day happens where that Kentucky job opens while Kevin Young's still like coaching, which I don't think it will. I'm curious what he does because he's literally John Calipari. Except for instead of having like players as friends, he has coaches as friends. And it's like sick, dude. You worked in the league for a while. We get it. You met a lot of people. And they like you, which is cool. There's no issue with that. But I mean, my second thought on it is that's how you get the one and done stuff, right? Like that's how you continuously get the recruits in. That's why I say he's John Calipari. John Calipari continuously got the one and dones regardless of team performance because those players knew he would get them out. Reed Shepard's the perfect example of that. I've been adamant about this since draft night. Reed Shepard did not should not have gone four. John Calipari got Reed Shepard to go four. Um, was it four or was it three actually?
I think it was three,
It
I
was
think.
three.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, shouldn't have gone three either. And John Calipari made that happen because of the relationships he has, right? And Kevin Young's able to do that for people too. I think you're seeing Diego rise a lot because Kevin Young is in people's ear. It makes when you have people talking to you about a player, it makes those front office executives, those coaches double check the tape. And sometimes when they would have only watched your tape once, that second time they see something they like more than that first time. And I think that's massively important in terms of like selling recruits. The third take on it is the one I've had the whole time. BYU fans, like I love BYU. I'm rooting for BYU forever. He won't be there for very long. The moment he can jump to the NBA, he will. And like I honestly think the Utah Jazz are going to use that BYU job as a way to develop a coach for themselves.
Dion, I'm going to do something incredibly rare for this channel, for this program, for you and I. I'm going to look you in the eyes and tell you I vehemently disagree with you and that I think you are wrong, my friend. I don't like this. I hate this. I would go to war for you. Normally, you say something, I take it as fact. And honestly, I go fight people over it. Here's where I'm going to have to just stand up for what I believe in. I just Googled, is Kevin Young Mormon? And I got an AI overview response. Not only is Kevin Young a practicing member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Dion, he is the great, 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 great grandson of Lorenzo Young. Do you know who Lorenzo Young is?
Kevin Young's great 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 grandfather.
The brother of Brigham Young.
Oh. Oh.
Kevin Young is a literal member of Brigham Young's family. And listen, we have this awesome BYU audience that I think has grown to appreciate us for our entertainment, but also we try to keep it real, right? And we own it when we're wrong. In the middle of last season, I came on here and said I was out on KY because I hated the way he handled Cannon Catchings on the night where Cannon Catchings was like 9 for 9 from the floor against Baylor and played 17 minutes or something. It drove me insane. And Kevin Young was right. I was wrong. Hand up. Admit that. And now I think I've noticed a lot of really nice BYU fans that sort of appreciate that we can stand up here, say what we believe, be wrong, and come back and reevaluate. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about if Kevin Young would ever leave for the NBA, and I had a similar sentiment. I said, hey, I think there will be a moment where an NBA job opens up, and who knows? How long will he be at BYU? He'll probably go back. We had a couple of BYU fans inform us via email. I can't report if this is true or not publicly, but some people in the know say it is. Kevin Young had the option to take the Phoenix Suns opening right now. And the fact that Kevin Young got an extension announced the day after Phoenix announced who their head coach is not a coincidence. That this was lined up in the background before that job was filled. I don't know if that's real or not, but I do believe this. You mentioned like the potential of what if Kentucky opened when he was here. Maybe 6 years from now, you're right. Maybe there's an NBA job. Who knows? Barring getting to the point where Kevin Young feels that he has done all that he can at BYU, I don't think this man is going anywhere. I don't think there's a chance he leaves BYU for any other college program. I would put it at 0% because not only does he have the history, the family ties, the religious ties, but there is nothing that Kevin Young can't do at BYU that he could do somewhere else. And that sounds crazy, but it's why he is so special. Literally, what he has built at BYU in 1 year, what he's putting together for next year, this roster's better than Kentucky's roster. This team is basically a Kentucky team. It's built with NBA players, with veterans, with transfer stars. He's crushing all levels. He's a three-level head coach. And I don't know that there's another three-level head coach in the country doing it as well as Kevin Young is. So he would be foolish to even seek out other opportunities. I don't think he will for all the reasons I listed. But back to the original quote here, why this matters to me is you're right. Cal was always able to elevate his guys. And I can almost guarantee you, he mentioned it's not hypothetical, right? That's his catchphrase. If Egor Demin goes in like the top 7 of this draft after having a very up and down year, KY is going to be able to point to that to every single future recruit and say, listen, I have a relationship in every single front office. I'm calling every single front office telling them how good Egor is. I'll do the same for you. And I think we're only going to see this grow and grow to the point where they get more and more dominant because of these types of relationships, you know? This video is brought to you by NBA2KLab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well. They're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game. And I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh,
Ooh,
okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
Please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's. That's New
New
York.
York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado is.
It's in Colorado. There's a state of
Is that
Colorado.
this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video.
um, two things. One, I'm stuck on Brigham. I didn't know that was a person.
Yeah.
Uh, so shout out my dog Brig, first off. Shout out to my guy. Definitely didn't know that was a person. So I'm kind of stuck on that. Research will be done after we record on who Brigham was. Um, I think I would caution on the Suns job being a like like being the reason he doesn't go to the NBA in the future. The only reason I caution on it is he was an assistant for the Suns before going to BYU. So I think the reason he turned that job down is the same is because he watched them. What they've gone through, what like they're about to be on their third coach since KD got there, and Kevin Young was there for two of them, I want to say. So I think he probably turned that job down because he knew it wouldn't stick. I do remember him having a quote though on his extension day where he said he was interested in the job. But I think his words were something along the lines of he left the NBA for a reason. And I think the reason is how messy that Phoenix Suns locker room is. One day, I think an NBA job opens that he's interested in. He's way too NBA centric, even within like his own locker room in terms of like what the goals are. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't want to win a national championship, but he wants to get guys to the NBA as badly as he wants to win a national championship. And there's nothing wrong with that. I actually love that style of coach. I'm a Calipari guy. I think you can win a championship while doing that. I do think it's obviously a bit harder to win a championship with that route than if you don't care about the NBA and you just want to win a championship. But I think ultimately he will get to, he's definitely not leaving for Kentucky anymore. I didn't know Brigham was his like, family member. So if he coaches college basketball, it's 100% at BYU. I do think like in the same sentiment that like Billy Donovan left Florida at some point. Like I do think there's a world Kevin Young gets to a point where he's like, hey, I did all I can here. I had a dream. I coached in the D League for like 10 years.
Yeah.
I coached overseas in Ireland for years. Like I did all this stuff because I wanted to get to the highest point of my career. And I think there will be that point. And maybe it's farther down the line than I once thought. But I do think he gets to a point where it's like, I just have to challenge myself with the NBA.
Well, he's 43 years old,
Right.
and the NBA is the peak of this profession. Ask anybody. I mean, I have friends that are head coaches in college basketball that I've discussed this with. Like, if you are, unless you're Tom Izzo, who like just falls in love with the place you're at and wants to stay forever and help them. It's incredibly rare that any top level coach, the way Kevin Young could be, doesn't want to coach at the highest level on his own at some point. My guess would be, as 43-year-old man, I think he's at BYU for at least 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got so much time. Do what you do. And if it gets to the point where BYU has won a national championship, which something they've never done in program history, if he closes the loop like that, then yeah, maybe you get to the point where in your late 50s, you're like, I've done all I can do here. It's time to move on. And I think BYU would sign up for that in the moment. But it's just interesting to me again. We are 1 year into this. He's already got like it never clicked in my he's an NBA coach, whatever. No, like Yegor's going everywhere, and everyone's like, tell my guy KY, I miss him. Like, what a benefit it is for Kevin Young to be able to sell that, you know?
Yeah. What I'm very curious about when it comes to the KY stuff is, I mean, obviously the Utah Jazz owners are the ones that are like funding everything for KY. By the way, KY is top tier nickname.
It's good, yeah.
It's fire. Are the Utah Jazz owners gonna pay him as much to coach BYU as they would the Jazz one day?
I think so.
I think so too. But I do think how long he remains at BYU is kind of in the Utah Jazz owners' hands. Like, what do they want from him? What do they want the most, right? Because respect, I don't know who the Utah Jazz head coach is at the moment. I know he's not as good as Kevin Young is at coaching, though.
Yeah, I'm deep down a Kevin Young rabbit hole right now. Got three kids named Jude, Van, and Zoe.
My sister's name's Zoe.
My daughter's middle name is Jude. I
I
mean,
think,
I don't know how this ends, but all I want now, you know how Brad Underwood ended up on the patio with Peja Stojakovic drinking wine?
yeah,
I want to be on Kevin Young's patio with mountains in the background. Just, I think it would be bourbon with Kevin. I
for
think.
sure. For sure. I do want to like pitch myself to Kevin Young. I'm willing to do the thing where like I go to New York for you every draft night and I just sit in your players like tables. And then like we have a fire handshake when they get like if you're unavailable, I'll do that for you. We have like a fire handshake. I have a Red Bull when it's AJ. And I make sure to get you a jersey to hang in your room like Calipari does too.
I love that too. Also, AI tells me that Kevin Young's decision to leave the NBA, uh, being able to have Sundays off was a key factor in his decision. Could not be more stock up for Kevin Young for
I'm
me.
so in on Kevin Young, and I do want to call Cart out. Me and G have direct connections to two of his kids' names. It's hot seat if you don't have a direct connection to the third name. I think second kid has to be named after him.
He's gonna have to name his second kid Vaughn or Van. It's VAN. I don't know what that is, but
I think that, or he has to get stocks in like Vans, the shoe company. No in between.